Persuasion is a key element in leadership, especially where leadership is pure and genuine. Today on Leadership Matters, we are going to be considering another of the basics of effective leaders, which is that leaders persuade a people. Leaders persuade the people. Now, true leaders eventually come to the point where they attract and empower others to their passion. Don't forget, in our last edition, we talked about leaders parading a passion. Now, after parading a passion, where leadership is pure, they eventually persuade people to be able to join their vision and carry out their responsibility. Sometimes they just find others who share the same passion with them. One thing is sure, genuine leaders connect with others. This is what separates an entrepreneur from a leader. Leaders don't act alone. This is fundamental. They must have followers. They have to, because they have a cause that is bigger than themselves. And therefore, they need others to be able to bring forth or birth the vision or the responsibility that is committed to their hands as leaders. Gideon, as an example from scripture, was told to gather an army and attack the Midianites. He recruited too many men that God had to tell him to trim the size down. Why? Because he might take glory in the fact that he had so many people to go to war with. But of course, I feel it's a good problem for leaders to have, where you persuade more than even the number of people that you need to execute a task or to be able to carry out a responsibility. Another example is Deborah. Although she was a woman, Israel was fully persuaded by Deborah. Whatever she determined to do, the people followed. Barak even insisted that she must go to war to battle with him, because he understood who had the influence amongst the people. Another example is Samuel. This was the strongest of all the judges. Samuel was the most influential leader between the time of Moses and David in the Bible. His leadership spanned 2 generations. Both old and young listened to Samuel. Now, even kings looked up to him. Why? Because Samuel had the capacity to be able to persuade people. He anointed Saul and David as king. He was called leader of leaders. So, and why was he in this class? Because Samuel knew how to persuade the people, not to force people to respond to the things he wants them to do, but ability to persuade people genuinely. Let's quickly look at 6 proven practices for getting things done. And these are universal principles or practices that applies anywhere in the world. Number 1, what gets talked about gets done. Please take note of these following things. Number 2, what gets trained for gets done. Number 3, what gets measured gets done. And number 4, what gets budgeted gets done. Number 5, what gets confronted gets done. And number 6, what gets rewarded gets done. Application for today. The question is, how about you? Who has bought into your leadership 100%? Who do you persuade today? Is it the old or the young? Are they leaders or are they followers? How do you persuade people to take the journey with you? When do you influence others, and where do you influence them? These are key questions that you need to respond to. But never forget that leaders must persuade a people. Leaders don't force people to respond to them. They persuade a people to be part of what they are doing and the vision which is bigger than them. So today I encourage you, go out there. If there's a vision or responsibility committed to your hand as a leader, don't force people into it, but ensure that you persuade them